Scaling isn't about like creating something brand new. This is a mistake a lot of people make. Oh, I was successful in this program, so let me add a second program, a third program, a fourth program. No, it's not about like creating something brand new. It's about multiplying what already works. Hey there, everyone. Welcome back to the podcast. I think I actually just started saying, hey, everyone, before I was even hitting record, which is a total rookie move, which there should be no rookie moving after podcasting for 7 years. So, hello, good morning. How is everyone? I'm glad you're here today. This is episode 12 of She's Equipped with myself, Jennifer Allwood. If you're watching on YouTube, yes, I did try to spice up Lulu scuba 3/4 zip with a denim jacket. I'm like, do I look more professional if I'm wearing a denim jacket? I don't know. I probably just need to get to where I just go ahead and record in workout clothes and just let it be. Because the truth is that I am always in workout clothes in the morning until I have to like do clothes, that are more professional for meetings, coaching, or whatever after lunch. So, anywho, let this just be a lesson to those of you women who are in business and you think you need to be a certain way for people to pay attention to you, appear a certain way. You don't. Okay. If it makes you feel better to be in professional clothes, by all means. If you are like me and you are able to wear yoga pants to the glory of God and still perform your job just as you would if you were in a suit, then do that. The important thing is that you do it. Okay. The important thing is you do it. So what I'm talking about on the podcast today is 3 signs that you're ready to scale your business. Like, how do you know if your business is ready to scale? Okay. And by scaling, I mean like put some systems in place, some people in place so that you can take whatever money you have already made in your business and now just like amplify that. That's what scaling is. And so how do you know when you're ready to put some systems and people in place so that you're able to like 2 times what you're doing, 3 times what you're doing in terms of revenue? I mean, everybody wants to scale their business ultimately. That should be the goal. When you're scaling, the business is no longer completely dependent just upon you. You're able to have other people, other things in place. And so, sorry, getting distracted by a family member texting me here. One moment, please. Okay, gotcha. So you want to have things in place so that you're able to make more with less effort. This is scaling. Okay. So how do you know if your business is ready to scale? If you're ready to scale, okay. Those are kind of what I want to talk about. And there are a lot of women who they stall out in business because they get to a certain point and the things that will help them to scale, they think are going to be too big of things to take on. Systems. That just sounds scary, right? Especially if you've got a creative brain. Just talking about systems just kind of makes us antsy. When you talk about hiring people, that a lot of times makes people nervous. It's not, guaranteed. This is something that they haven't done yet. So they don't have a process like mapped out for them. But the truth is that scaling is less about you knowing all the things and having everything figured out and more just like recognizing when you have an opportune time to take what you've already built and magnify it. And that magnifies income. It magnifies impact. If you are forward facing with your faith in business, which by the way, not everyone is supposed to be, not everybody should be, but then you're able to magnify that. And so you don't have to have necessarily a 5-year plan, but you do just have to be willing to take some of the next steps for scaling. So there's 3 ways I think you can tell if your business is really ready to scale. And one is market validation, meaning that it's very obvious that the market, that people want what it is that you offer. So this means they're already buying whatever you're laying down, whether that is a product, a service, an online coaching, consulting package, whatever. People are already buying it. They're already buying into you essentially, and they know how things work. So you've seen results, you've seen transformations. You can confidently promise those same things to other people. It's not Scaling isn't about like creating something brand new. This is a mistake a lot of people make. Oh, I was successful in this program, so let me add a second program, a third program, a fourth program. No, it's not about like creating something brand new. It's about multiplying what already works. It's about magnifying what you've already had some success in. So you might be changing the delivery method or the container of your offer if it's like a virtual thing. But scaling isn't about like starting over with a brand new idea. Okay. I want to say that first of all, we got to keep things really simple. So if the market has already validated what you're doing, good sign that you're ready to scale. Sign number two is audience building, meaning you've already got an audience online on your email. You already have some presence. So this could be, you already have social media followers. You already have social media followers who actually engage. You can, by the way, look at different people in the online space and see that they have thousands or even millions of followers, and crickets for engagement. And that's always a sign, by the way, that they've a lot of times purchased those followers. So sometimes you see people who are celebrities or on their way to becoming celebrities, and you can tell that they had to have purchased a lot of followers, or perhaps their followers are not US based even though they are from the States, because they'll have a million followers and get 2 comments, and so that's never good. So hopefully you have followers who actually engage with you. Hopefully you have started an email list, even if it's a small one. You have a list of people that you can sell to. Hopefully you have a group of past clients, loyal past clients, people who have worked with you that have been happy that they worked with you and would work with you again, because scaling requires people to scale. You know what I mean? You have to have people that you can scale to. So if you've got your business and you only have 100 followers and 0 email lists, like that's hard to scale, right? Because you can't scale to 0 people on an email list. You can't, it's hard to sell many more than just a couple to 100 people. So hopefully you've started gathering people into your ecosystem. You've got them on your list. They're following you. And the bigger those 2 things are, the easier it actually is to scale. And then thirdly, is thirdly a word, by the way? I think it's a word. Thirdly. Sure. Thirdly. Okay. Thirdly, you have some supports and systems that are necessary. So hopefully you've got to the point where you're like, okay, I can't keep doing this all by myself. That is a really good sign that something has to shift, something has to change, and probably you're going to need to put some things in place for you to be able to scale. So this is for those of you who are like, okay, I need a mini me. I need somebody else helping me here. I can't continue working at this pace. You feel like a hamster on a wheel. You're not, getting enough of a reprieve. You're not taking a Sabbath. You're not taking any rest days. You're afraid to be away from your phone. Like when you are to that point, then you need to build some simple systems. You need some templates. You need some automations. You need to do some batch work. You need to hire help, whether it's a virtual assistant, one we would have here at Team Allwood, whether it's through software, like using my Equip 360 software, or whether it's getting into a program like what we have with She's Equipped, but that you have got to have help from somewhere. And so, and you might need a combination of all those, which is, by the way, if you go to she'sequipped.com, you will find that combination. But when you have gotten to where you can tell that there's just like there's a bottleneck now. You can't really get past where you're going, because you need like additional software, you need some help, you need somebody that can look at your blind spots, whatever. That's a good sign that then you really need to be ready to scale, and you really should be scaling. Okay. So what you don't need to wait for as a sign is you don't need to wait for everything to be perfect and ready. You don't. Ready is a lie. My friend Angie Lee online always says that ready is a lie. You don't need to wait until your feelings catch up. Okay. If you're wondering if you're ready to scale when that sounds really scary, that's okay. It's okay that it sounds scary. It's okay that that instills a little bit of fear in you. Everybody thinks fear is bad. It's not always bad. Fear is what God gave us as a way to get us to back up from the edge of a cliff, right? Like that is a valid fear. We should feel scared in those instances. There are so many people, I think, that just think that all fear is bad, and it's really not. So if you're waiting until you don't feel fearful about scaling before you put some things in place to scale, like you could be waiting a long, long time. You really could. If you're waiting until you have like a 5-year plan, if you're waiting until, God has given you the 10-year vision, like you could also be waiting a really long time. And so I don't want you to be waiting for those things. Okay. Scaling is not about hustling more. It's about putting things in place and people in place to create leverage for you so that your work has like greater impact and greater reach. If you're already helping people on a one-on-one basis, let's say you do one-on-one consulting for people, okay? Scaling would allow you to help, instead of, 1Z, 2Z, maybe 3 people. Now you can help 10. Now you can help 100. Now you can help 1,000. So I want you to think about scaling as like multiplication. It's not addition. It's not adding more to your plate. It's putting things in place so that you have more capacity, which a lot of business owners really need. And so, scaling is hard. If you still are trying to figure out systems, strategy, software, all those things on your own, like I said, you can go to she'sequipped.com. That is my website, which helps women who are in business scale. It's my entire focus. We have put all of my trainings under that umbrella, and this will give you all of the next steps that you need so that you are able to scale, which ultimately, again, should be everyone's. If you're in business, that should be your goal. So you may be more positioned for scaling than what you even realize. I want you to really look hard at like what's working. Who am I already serving? Am I ready to do some of the things Jen's talking about, like hire help, put some software in place so I'm not manually, sending out emails and things like those are the types of things that scaling involves. You should not be doing things that require hours and hours of your time. And I mean, when you don't have right systems in place, right? Because you're like, okay, I probably need to get some software. I probably need somebody to set this up correctly for me. I just don't want to take the time to do it. And I'm telling you, you can take the time now or you can take the time later. Always better to do it now. Okay. And also, by the way, that's maturity, I think. Because if you already have some of those signs in place that you're ready to scale, the only thing that's still, required is you just being brave enough to put some of the things in place to do that. So you can always send me a DM on Instagram. You can go to she'sequipped.com and I will plan on chatting with you on the next episode. Thanks so much, friends. Bye. How are your legs feeling, honey? First marathon last weekend. Let's go, let's go, let's go.